Hey, good evening, everyone. Thanks for coming out tonight. We really appreciate the citizens joining us. We have a lot of information we want to give you tonight, a lot of things going on in the county. We have our public safety folks here tonight. A lot of county employees are here tonight. Chief Ferguson right here. So we're going to get started. The way we're going to do this is have a session on what the county is doing, and then a session on what the schools are doing. So please ask questions. There's a section at the end to ask questions. So I would like to introduce Vic Carpenter. He's our new county administrator. He's been on the job 3 months. 3 months. So we're going to put him to the test. So y'all put him through his paces tonight. Okay. All right. Thank you.
Thank you. Of course, that was Ms. Lascolette, who needs no introduction as part of the county. Also, we have from the county tonight, Mr. Neil Spoonhour, our chairman, and we also have Mr. Ken Peterson, our supervisor, supervisor for District 5, and our school board will be introduced to you later. Well, good evening. I'm Vic Carpenter, and I'm the county administrator of Goochland County for again about 14 weeks, and it's been a great 14 weeks. I appreciate the opportunity that has been given to me to serve the citizens of this great and fine county. So we're going to start off, though, by talking about Goochland County. We're here to tell you the story of Goochland County this past year. It's a great story. And I'm going to go over some of the highlights. This is the first meeting of 3. You'll see we have 2 more scheduled, one in the central area of the county at the county administration building on October 17th, and one in the eastern part of the county at the Marriott Residence Inn in the Notch. So let's start with our communities itself and keeping our communities safe. You know, when we start with communities keeping safe, let's start with our fire and emergency services. You know, this past week, we began our fire prevention week. Fire rescue show that we did for the first time number had almost 1,000 volunteers. We gave away free smoke alarms at this event. We had an amazing activity. We had fireworks, you may have heard it. We've also got going on our fire safety month, where you can get free fire alarms given to you as well. One of the things about fire safety and emergency services is that it's a volunteer service. So we do have career individuals involved with it. We also have a very strong volunteer component. We're always looking for volunteers. We ask you and encourage you to spread the word about our volunteer needs and our services. We're also right now training 15 people in the volunteer and fire career services at our fire training center. It shows you the continued commitment that we have for you to make sure that we have an ongoing and regular group of people coming in to provide you the services. Moving on from there, of course, we have our public safety sheriff's office. We have tonight the sheriff himself and a number of his employees with him. Would like sheriff to come up and tell you about the things they've been doing. Sheriff Creasy.
I don't think I need the mic. I can talk loud enough. First, I know I've had several questions here the past couple of weeks. Why are you growing this on your face? Well, the reason why we are growing hair on our face, the ladies who are deputies are having different colored fingernail polish. Dispatchers are able to wear jeans because we are raising money for Matthew Smiles Foundation. Matthew Smiles Foundation is a foundation to help prevent the stigma with mental health. There's a local boy who lived in Eastern County, and this is a tragic incident, but we partnered with his foundation and his family to raise money for them. So that is why you would see us with facial hair going on. But what I wanted to do tonight is just come over and just to highlight a couple projects that we do with the sheriff's office that some of you may not know about. One that is very popular is Vacation Watch. And what that is, you can go to our website, you can go to our app, and you ask for a vacation watch. And what we will do while you're at the beach or wherever you're at, when deputies are not busy, we will come by and check on your house. They will actually get out, walk around, make sure your windows are okay, make sure your doors are locked. And if they see anything that is out of the normal, they'll give you a call. Hate to bother you on vacation, but better safe than sorry. We'll give you a call and make sure everything's all right. We also do something similar with Business Watch. We also have what I mentioned a little while ago is a app on the back table. You can go in there, you can scan that paper up there and download your app. Use this for the, okay, thank you. I have to use this for all my people. But please download the app. We had a pretty good accident on 522 earlier today. That the road was shut down probably around 6:30, 7:30, something like that. And then it didn't open until about 3:30. But you will get alerts on your app of road closures in the county. If it's accidents, trees down, or anything that we know about, we will share that with you. Here are the things we do. Junior Deputy Camp will come in July. We already got a date for that. Kids have a great time. The last day of the camp, they love to have a water balloon fight, and I'm usually soaking wet by the end of it. We're starting another Citizens Academy in February. Last Wednesday and Thursday in February. We're doing one right now, but if you've never done it, please do it. You'll learn anything and everything there is to learn about the sheriff's office, and then do a ride along with a deputy on one of the shifts. We also have a date for the Kids Fishing Day. You can get all the information on that website or our app. And then we also did our first annual car show, which was outstanding. We're going to do it again. We actually may bump it up and do it in the spring, but those dates and times are to come at a later date. But please follow us on Facebook, check out our website, download our app. If you have any questions for us, we'll be here till the end of this. I got Captain Baird, who's back there. We have our school resource officer from the high school, Donovan. We also have Tammy Witt as a 911 dispatch supervisor, and we have our investigator, Madeline Davies, in the back, who can answer any questions after this. I'll turn it back over to Dave. Thank you.
Thanks, Sheriff Chris. I'd like to throw some extra kudos in. As you know, we in recent times, recent months, we've had some tornadoes, we've had ice storms, we've had water main breaks, we've had rabid raccoons, you name it, we've had a bunch of stuff in this county. And kudos to our 911 center for those professionals handling every call that comes in. They don't know what's on the other end of that phone that comes in, but they're there and they're ensuring that our safety is protected and the people that need to be on the scene are on the scene. So again, thank you very much for the job that y'all do. Another one of the areas we do is our animal shelter and adoption center. And I don't know how many of you have ever had that opportunity to go by there, but this is the result of an amazing partnership between the public, Goochland County, and Goochland pet lovers, and the money that they've raised and the funds that they've put into it. We're open Tuesday through Saturdays, various times. The adoption fees are good. If you've ever had the chance to go by the adoption center, please do so. But our animal control officers, they're also protecting us, providing that public safety. I kind of mentioned rabid raccoons, but that was a very real thing that happened the last couple of days in this part of the county. And they were able to be on it very quickly. They were able to find the raccoon. It was rabid. They're able to take care of it accordingly. And as it kind of spiraled a little bit out and bit some animals and whatnot, they're able to ensure that those were stabilized, protected, removed from the population. So they're a very important part of our public safety in Goochland County. We appreciate greatly what they do for us. Well, from public safety, we move into our public facilities. And this last year, your county has made significant investments in public facilities in Goochland County. We've begun with, for example, if you see down in the Goochland Courthouse area, the sports complex and the ball field, the lights. The next couple of weeks, you'll see those lights being replaced. New light poles, new lights, new wiring. These are dark sky compliant lights. If you've ever seen dark sky compliant lights at ball field, it's amazing how they can illuminate the field and it can be almost totally dark 100 feet away from it. So these are very high-tech lights. They're computer controlled and moderated, and we can monitor them from distances, turn them on and off with a switch. You'll also see the skate park. You'll also see the skate park renovation starting. The skate park right there is also in the same area of the county. Now I see some of you, and I can tell that you're out there on skateboards. So you'll enjoy what this is going to be doing to you. Phase one is begun, and phase one will be taking the whole front half of it, replacing it with concrete and with a steel ramping for the kids and participants. Phase 2 and 3 is still going to be determined. It's going to be the successful fundraising that'll lead us there. We're fortunate, again, this is Goochland, so people give, people care, people buy in. So we've got an organization that's helping us raise funds to make sure that phase 2 and 3 happen for our skate park. And then out in the central area, Central High Complex, the generators. You know, this past January, we had an ice storm. Later on, we had tornadoes, and in some cases, people had to leave their homes. The generators being put into Central High School will allow it to be an emergency shelter. It'll allow us to open up in those cases and situations so we have a place where our public can go if they need to in this part of the county. So that's a very important thing that we're very proud of that we're doing for you. Continuing on in our fire and rescue services, you know, once again, Goochland, we have a great relationship with our community. And our fire rescue services, most of the fire stations are actually owned by our volunteers, and the volunteer organization that fundraises and maintains and protects them for us. You'll see at the Mannequin side of the county, Fire Station 1 has been having some significant work done, mostly on the interior. If you drive by it, you wouldn't necessarily know from the outside what they're doing there, but totally redoing the interior of Station 1. Station 3 in Centerville is mostly exterior work. You'll see them staining the wood and doing some work there, but they're around here, Fife, just down the street. If you've driven by it, you've seen what's happened there. It looked like a bomb went off because the whole front of the building was gone one day. You drove by and there wasn't a fire station there. Well, now they're moving on. They've extended that out by about 8 feet, and they had to widen the doors because the apparatus that we put in there couldn't fit. And new apparatus is longer, it's bigger. So they had to totally rebuild the station. So there you see in Fire Station 4 now, that's a recent picture showing it 8 feet bigger and the extended out. Again, our thanks and appreciation to the organization that actually has done this. Goochland County is partners with them, and we wouldn't do it without them. Moving on, other kind of infrastructure is very important out here, and that's broadband. Now let's talk about broadband, because broadband is something that for this part of the county is going to be critical going forward into the future. One of those things that you need to know is that this county made a commitment along with our state government to expend significant amounts of funds into building that broadband infrastructure that we need so critically. So this county committed over $3.6 million. The state and the federal government committed almost $80 million into ensuring that we would be able to expand by 2025 our infrastructure for broadband in this part of the county. So the key takeaways of where we are right now, I think, are pretty impressive. In the western part of the county right now, over 110 miles of fiber have been buried that weren't there 18 months ago. Also, as a result of burying that and the connections that are starting to happen in this part of the county, over 1,250 houses and businesses are now in a position where they can be hooked up. So we have got a long way to go, but we have started. We're starting to see success in parts of our county that never had broadband fiber in the past. You see the maps, the bigger maps are the back of the room. I'm not going to spend a lot of time. You can go look and see where you are on it, but this kind of goes over all the partners that we have in work in the county. And of course, right here, this is a big part of where we are, but you have different Rappahannock Electric, Dominion Energy. You've got Goochland County. You've got all these partners that are working to make this happen. The center part of the county, Port 80, is a different organization in the Crozier area, and Port 80 has made significant accomplishments as well since 2021. See a little bit about 19 miles of backbone fiber put in, and new drops connected 228 people. Well, moving on from that, what's critical to this community is the providing of opportunity. And opportunity can mean a lot of things. Opportunity can mean jobs. It can mean the opportunity to go and shop, buy food, buy groceries, buy supplies, things, services that you need. I'm going to go over things that have happened in the economic development part of this county in the last year. For example, recently completed over in the western part of the county, Greenswell Growers, which is an amazing hydroponics company that grows indoors leafy greens, mostly cabbage that they grow. No human hands touch it. They've already sold out every bit of their product line, so they're expanding. That's stories you want to hear. These are very benevolent kind of organizations in the sense that they don't use chemicals, they don't pollute the environment. It's all indoors, and they're expanding. Also, we've added W.T. Curtis, which is a new facility, a local contractor building new headquarters in the county. The Courthouse Creek Cidery is expanded. Advanced Auto Parts building a new location here. Broad Mills Electric Office Complex, and then over in Haydensville, Dollar General. Nearing completion, these are some big projects, especially Avery Point, which is a continuing care retirement community. It's ultimately going to have 11 buildings that'll accommodate hundreds of people 55 and older as they move in and go through various stages of life. Again, none of y'all are ready for that, but at some point, this is a very critical service for this community to be able to have a place that people can go and retire to. Tommy's Car Wash in Belleville, again, important services for us. You can see as well under construction what's going on. We have apartments, we have medical offices, we have machinery company, we have retail. And then finally in review, more medical office buildings, Chick-fil-A. That's one of the things everyone always says, when are we going to get a Target, a Publix, and a Chick-fil-A? Well, I don't know we'll ever have a Target and a Publix, but we're going to have a Chick-fil-A somewhere in this county. All right, indoor tennis facility in Centerville. And very important in this part of the county, I think, is HG Meats. That's a facility that's currently in the process of being reviewed up in the Haydensville area. It'll be a facility that allow our small farmers, our small ranchers who have, cattle, a couple cattle they're raising. Right now, they've got to go many miles away to get those meats processed. When it goes through the process and gets built and open, it'll be able to help our local growers take their cows, take their pigs and place in Goochland County. And so it'll provide a valuable service to the agricultural community for Goochland County. Of course, Project Rocky. I'm sure most people have heard about Project Rocky. That's one of the most exciting things I've ever had the opportunity to be part of. So let me tell you about it. Project Rocky is going to be a 650,000 square foot distribution center, an e-commerce fulfillment center is what they call it. $500 million, that's $500 million investment in Goochland County and 1,000 jobs. It's going to be up in the northeast quadrant of the county. It's going to be on located right there on I-64 on Ashland Road. One of the big parts of it, we'll talk a little bit more in a second about it, but a 4-lane DDI is going to be built there in the next couple of years. If you've had a chance to go to Zion Crossroads, you've seen what a 4-lane DDI is and looks like. That's what they're going to have to put there. I'll talk a little bit more about that in a second. Well, we have to plan for our future as well. This is our present right now. Project Rocky and things like that are where we are now. But we have to plan for where we're going. So planning for our future is very important and critical to Goochland County. One of the things that we're very involved in is our village plans, our small area plans, we call them. We've got 2 of them underway right now. One of them in the Centerville area and one of them in the courthouse area. Hopefully you've had a chance to participate in that. We want everybody to participate. Whether you live in those areas or not, we want you to be part of them. Well, here's where we are right now. We started in February with kicking off these area plans. We had community meetings. In March, we had roundtable discussions with citizens, with developers, with businesses. We want everybody's thoughts. We wanted to understand everybody's viewpoint on what these communities can grow and turn into. April and June, we started surveying our communities. We had over 400 survey results come into us from across the county, what people thought about it. And then we had our midway, halfway point community meetings in June and July. So taking all the feedback we've received to date, we've gone back to the consultants we're working with, and they're further developing these plans. So the next steps are going to be this winter and spring. We're going to start with community meetings again. We're going to have a draft plan at that point, and we'll share it with everybody so they can look to see what the thought of the consultants and the thought of the community is at that point. And we're looking then for more input. We want citizens to look at the draft and say, yay, nay, that's good, it's not good. So that'll be our community meetings. After that, once we've had a chance to kind of let that percolate through and we get feedback from our citizens, then there'll be a work session between the Board of Supervisors and our Planning Commission. These are the 2 bodies that ultimately have to make these decisions. So putting them together so they can discuss these plans amongst themselves in a work session. No votes are taken. This is an opportunity to really dig down and listen to the citizens what they want. From there, we'll move into public hearings between the Planning Commission and the Board of Supervisors. And then at some point after that, the plans will come to a conclusion and the process then will be over. So sometime next spring, we anticipate we'll be at a final product for where we're going. It's very important to the board and the county that you participate if you've got any desire. So here's how you participate. You can go ahead and you can go online. You can call us. You can email us. You can log in at any of these things, but we want to hear your thoughts. We want to get your input because it is important to Goochland County that everybody has a chance. This is our county. It's not just people who live there. It's everybody's county. It's just important that you have that opportunity. So what else is going on in community development? Well, if you haven't noticed, this is a growing county. A lot of people want to move here. A lot of people want to be here. So it's critical that we as an organization are able to better manage the whole process of community development. So the EnerGov is a new software system that we're moving to. The reason why I'm telling you about this is a fundamental shift in how we've done business. In the past, we've done business the old style way. If you come in, you fill out a permit, you go through the process. This moves it all online. It becomes a digital process where people can, from a distance, do it. They can pay the fees from a distance, but just as critical, citizens can now track everything. So if you as a citizen want to know what's going on with a particular project, you'll be able to go online and see where they are in the process. You'll be able to see where the status is, what's happened. You'll be able to see the paperwork, things like that. So for this is not just permitting software, it's citizen engagement. It's transparency. It's letting our community know what's happening in their community, in their neighborhood as well. So these are some of the features that I was mentioning right there that you can see that you'll be able to do. And again, it's going to go live on November 15th. And if you've ever been involved with any kind of a rollout of a new operating system, imagine that we'll have a bump here or there. Things won't be perfect. So we're asking for grace when that happens. Staff have been working on this for months. But again, I won't tell you it'll be perfect, but it's going to be darn close. We're going to do everything we can to make sure that it will be when it does roll out. Transportation is another part of ensuring that our future is taken care of. We're thinking about it, talking about it. One that a lot of y'all may see if you drive into the courthouse area is right now the big traffic circle is being built by the food line. That's the Fairgrounds Sandy Hook Road intersection improvement. It's underway now. The good news about that is at no point in time will Highway 522 be closed. That'll be open the entire duration of the project. For about a month, maybe in February, March, part of Fairgrounds Road will have to be closed to detour, but the detour will be through the college and down around. So it'll go by the high school and down around. So it won't be a major detour, but it'll be completed in about a year from now, and that'll be done. That's very important for what we're doing. Another one is the corridor study. And Fairgrounds Road as a corridor really starts all the way at 250, and it goes all the way down, of course, into the courthouse itself. So this study, it's a VDOT program to make sure that we're going to study the entire corridor, not just one little section, but the entire corridor as a whole system. And what's going to happen in the next 20, 30 years, the growth is going to impact it, to make sure that we have a better idea that as that area does develop and we put more traffic onto it, what needs to be done. So this is important for us to plan, is to understand. So this corridor study has started already. It'll be done in December, and that'll give us some very good data so we can then better make decisions about development in that area and what's going to be happening. So that's one of the things we're proud about. If you ever go to the eastern part of the county, use Highway 288. One of the studies that's underway is a study to see about building a new interchange. Things that happen 20 years in the future require planning now in order to make sure that it'll happen in those 20 years. So we started a process right now to determine about would there make sense to be a new intersection built at some point in the future on 288. So if I'm blocking you over there. That would then allow you to get off and go Wilkes Ridge all the way up to 250 and divert a lot of traffic from these intersections that are troublesome. So that's a long-term kind of a plan that we're starting the process on. Another one that's a little closer to home is the Oilville Road interchange on the west side of the intersection. We've received a significant funding commitment for it already. Our hope is that we'll have the rest of the funds secured and we'll be able to start the process on that sometime in the next, 18, 24 months of doing that. Again, that will be the west side of the intersection, and it would make significant changes in the backup of traffic, as well as the safety of traffic on the Oilville exit. If you've ever been stuck there, then you know what that can mean and what that can do to you. Well, there's more because we're a growing county. I just mentioned earlier about Project Rocky and the Highway 64 DDI. Let's talk a little bit about that. Highway 64 DDI again will be a 4-lane. Right now, Ashland Road is a failing road. If you've driven it many times a day, it's already a failing intersection right there at 64. So we're not unaware of that problem. Fortunately for us, the state of Virginia has been very committed to making sure that we have a solution for that, because when Project Rocky comes in, it's certainly going to add more traffic to it. We already know that. So the divergent diamond on 64, the funds that we've secured or in the process of securing will allow us to start. It says construction in 2028, but we think it'll be sooner than that. That's certainly our hope. But in the meantime, what will be done on that intersection is turn lanes are going to be built into Project Rocky and onto the interstate heading west, as well as on the south side, the exit ramps on the west side will have stoplights put up as well. So the stoplights will manage traffic. The turn lanes will help until we can get the DDI built. So that's going to be a big thing for us. VDOT's also building a whole new park and ride in that same intersection. That's not part of the DDI. It's a parallel project, but it's going to be a lot of value added if you use the park and ride system. And then finally, the Hockett Road realignment. If you drive that part of the county at any amount of time, Hockett Road currently goes all the way from Highway 6 and it follows all the way up to 250. Then people go to the interstate, have to come down here and get on Ashland Road to go to the interstate. So this will actually realign Hockett Road so that it will become essentially part of the Ashland Road intersection. And you'll be able to go from Highway 6 all the way to I-64. It's a smooth process. It'll make a huge difference in traffic flow and safety. And these are all driven by safety at the end of the day. We're not trying to move cars faster. We're trying to move cars safer. And that's what these accomplish and what they do. So this is something that the engineering will begin next year. We hope to have it completed in about 3 years. So there's where we're going. Those are the future. Those are the things your county's doing to make sure that our future is something we've thought about, we've planned about, we've anticipated. What are we doing today? Let's talk about what we're doing today, the fun stuff, okay? Our Parks and Rec program, if you have an opportunity to be part of that, it's an amazing group of people that do neat things. We just recently started our Night at Tucker concert series. We had over 400 people come to the very first one of those back in August. We've got another one coming up in November. It's local music, it's local food trucks, it's local groups being out there. The one in November will be another fun one. If you can get out there, come out and bring your family. It's just a great evening at Tucker Park. Of course, I don't need to probably tell you all about Central High School Complex and all that it offers, but it's something we're very proud of, that the county has invested significant time and effort into. Additional things we'll be doing, our Fall Festival in 2022. It'll be on October 29th, 12 to 4. Family festival, fun. Bring the kids out. It's just going to be a good old-fashioned family festival, okay? It's the kind of thing you want to bring your kids to. If you got your grandkids to it, or just yourself, want to bring your dog, cat, whatever, it'd be a good time. Something new they did last year is called Comic Fest. And Comic Fest is a modern pop culture festival. Comic books, anime, gaming, costuming, things like that, that a number of people, all my kids are very involved and very invested in some of those aspects. We just did it last year for the first time. We had great turnout. So we're doing it again. It's going to be November the 12th at Central. Pickleball, our pickleball tournament is our 6th year, coming up November 5th. Pickleball is, if you play pickleball, I don't need to tell you what it is, okay? If you don't play pickleball, it's a very fun indoor sport that's designed for people, you know, anybody can play starting at age 18. It's very popular with the over 55 crowd, I will tell you, and it's a great sport. Encourage you to find out more if you're not already aware of it, but that's one of the kind of things they do, and they'll be participating in. We've also got our youth sports, our youth rec leagues, our baseball, softball, cheerleading, football. Those are all provided by, again, one of those great local nonprofit relationships this county has. So the county doesn't provide those programs. They're provided to the county by another organization. Same thing with, we're starting a lacrosse league, a nonprofit organization. Same thing with our soccer, provided by a local nonprofit. So the county works with our citizens and our community as much as we can. So through Parks and Rec, a lot of the programs that are offered there are really not our programs. We just provide the support and the encouragement and the atmosphere that lets them be successful in what they do. So now let's move on to the future and the future with elections. It's an important thing that I want to kind of start to wrap up and close with you on, because this is so critical. The election day is November 8th. In Virginia, we can vote up until November 5th in early voting. The early voting satellite office is located in Goochland Courthouse. It's located in the sports complex right next door to the registrar's office. And it is behind the administration building itself. You can vote there up until November 5th. On November 8th, you'll be able to vote in your local precincts. We have big maps in the back that show the new precincts. But one of the important things you want to go over is make sure, especially here, if you vote in this particular precinct, you probably used to vote at Mizpah Christian Church. Starting this year, you'll vote right here at Byrd Elementary School. So precinct 101 has moved from Mizpah to here. Same thing if you're in a 201 and 3 Square, it's moved from Smyrna Baptist to Chief Cornerstone Baptist. If you're in the Sandy Hook area, it's moved from the Goochland Recreation Center to the Central High School. And then you can see Beaver Dam and Randolph and the other parts of the county where they moved to as well. Please make sure you know where you're supposed to vote. Again, you can get back to the room. You see the map. You got handouts there that will tell you where the changes are in precincts. It's very important that you know where you're supposed to go, so you go to the right precinct. So all this is because of you, the citizens. Goochland County would not exist without citizens. We had no reason to be here without citizens. So understanding our citizens and making sure that our citizens are engaged is very important to us. So here's how you get engaged in Goochland County. I mean, everybody in this room, everybody watching, everybody in our community really ought to be engaged. You know, there's nothing more And this is the truth. There's nothing more disappointing than having a very significant topic on an agenda at a board meeting and you look out and there's nobody in the audience. You know, I mean, except for Mr. Lyle, of course. So please get engaged. How can you do it? Well, there's the website, Facebook. If you're not signed up to Code Red, you really should. An example, we used Code Red this past Thursday when the water main broke. We were able to send out information to people that were just affected by the water main. Same thing in January when we had the ice storm, we were able to send out information through Code Red and target people. We're on social media, Twitter as well. We got our phone number. The sheriff's app, he was mentioning it. That's a great app everybody should have on their phone. Please, if you don't have it downloaded, you probably should. You can come to our monthly board meetings. They're held the first Tuesday of the month. You can always go online and get these slides. You can get our agendas. You can get anything that's been discussed or talked about in any meeting of Goochland County. So please make sure that you're aware of ways you can learn about your county and ways you can be part of what your county does. We're doing a survey as well. And if you are into QR codes, we ask that you do the QR code, or if not, you can go online. And the survey just helps us better understand how to communicate with you. So we as a staff want to better understand the best ways to reach out to our citizens so we can always be providing the level of communication and the level of engagement that our citizens want and need. So strongly encourage you to please take part in this in just a couple minutes and let us know. And with that, are there any kind of questions that you may have for myself or members of the staff? Yes, ma'am.
It's nice seeing all the modern technology that the county's going through and everything, but guess what? I can't get online at home. I am so frustrated. I was so excited when the RISE project came along, but I'm Dominican, and they are slow as mud. Nothing is happening. Everybody around me is getting connected. They're Central Virginia or Rappahannock. And this is getting critical. And I think, Susan, is it 2024 now before Dominion?
Well, they're saying 2025 to give themselves the room, because they don't know what they're gonna find when they start laying the lines.
Well, I just don't understand how the others can get connected. The lines are going down for them, and yet Dominion customers are lost in the sauce. And I'm frustrated, I'm aggravated, and I'm mad. I just am. We have Dish, and our Dish bill is ridiculous, and that's not even internet. That's just satellite TV. I mean, it's getting unreachable. It's not affordable anymore. And we need good internet, everything, doctor's offices, everything we do. We have to have good internet. In 2025, that's ridiculous. So I implore the county to go up the chain and try to do something to get this project on.
We talk to him all the time, or all. I mean, he's constantly talking to clarify in all of the service providers.
Dominion won't even return my call because I wanted to talk to them about our power line because we have lost power. I don't know how many times this year since the January storm, and it keeps going out. And then we were 3 people, just 3 of us out. It was 12 hours before Dominion even called the contractor to come because we talked to them. They said, oh, well, the power went out like 6 that evening. And we talked to them the next morning and we saw the guys out there. And they said, well, we didn't get the call till this morning. And we're just like, why? Why didn't you get the call? You know, so I wanted to talk to them about that and about how our lines are so fragile. And nobody ever returned my call. They're just too big.
So we can never completely understand the frustration with the many, and we are, as Ms. Lansford has said, constantly engaging with fire fund in relation to that piece of the RISE project. there is work going on. It is, can't see it, and we understand that's part of the frustration, but we're also working to engage even more with the Dominion side of that. And I give you after, we may have some context we probably get we have to give to answer some of those questions. But I will also say some of that, like feedback project started back in really 2019, started on that. So those areas out here in Goochland have been waiting on that piece, and that piece started before the RISE project started. So that's why some of the feedback is going, and the Haynesville area, Shannon Hill area is one of the last in that going on. So that has been a multi-year project as well, and it's now flowing there. So, but we continue to work to try to get it as soon as possible. We're fortunate to be one of the counties where they're working on all components of the project with firefighting in some form or fashion. You can't see it, again, that's the frustration. And we want to have you connected as soon as possible, because that way you can be more engaged with us. But we can talk more later about
Another aspect of this, though, that really is frustrating is that Cumberland County, they have high-speed internet. Look how rural they are. Your counties in Southwest Virginia, Caswell, all out in that area, they've had high-speed internet for years. Why are we so bad? I mean, it's like we're in the Stone Ages or something.
It's still what, 40% of the state does not have an event. It's a big government project. They would not by any means, by far. And Cumberland has CPAC for the most part. And they took care of their customers first. They had the lines already, run, and so I think that's what the, I mean, they started actually wanting to service their customers. And then it expanded
Right.
to everybody else. Thank God.
Please get with us afterwards. We'll try to get some numbers. Maybe we can, intercede, especially on the power lines. They may not be as forthright with some of the broadband things, but on the power lines, they're generally pretty good. So if you're not able to get through on that, please make sure that Paul and myself, so we can help on the power issue. Any other questions? Seeing none, then thank you all very much. Again, appreciate the opportunity that I and my staff have to serve you. And I will now turn it over to the school district. Wait, do we have a question coming in? Okay, all right. Thank you.
I want to thank everybody for being here. I'm Sandra Barefoot Reed. I'm your school board representative for this district. And we've had a wonderful start to the school year. And Dr. Rayleigh has a wonderful program to show you how much we have accomplished so far. And I appreciate everything that you've done here. Thank you.
All right, good evening, everybody. Yeah, we let Mr. Carpenter off pretty easy as a rookie. What's the deal with that? I mean, come on now, let's make it a little tougher here. Also want to introduce Ms. Karen Horn, who represents District 3 on our Goochland County School Board. And again, welcome everybody for being here tonight. I have really 3 objectives tonight I want to share with you. The first objective is just to give you a little insight regarding what we've been doing this year and the positive start that we have had to our school year. This community invests $40 million in public education from state, federal, and local resources. And even though we get money from the state and from the feds, it is still taxpayer dollars that were generated in here in Goochland. So ultimately, our residents generate $40 million to operate our schools. And I want to let you know where that investment is going and truly how that investment is resulting in very positive dividends for our community. I want to talk a little bit about enrollment. Oftentimes I come to settings like this and folks want to know how many kids we have and are we growing, certainly based on what we see when we drive through our community's roads. And I want to end with a high profile project, and that being our new Goochland Elementary School, and giving you an update on where we are. But we truly are off to a great start. We are now finishing the first quarter of this year. It's hard to believe that this is week 9 for us. And I'll tell you, it's been a very positive start. We had some challenges last year. We got through the COVID pandemic, got students in school, but we were still reeling from some of the challenges that human beings were experiencing when they come back together and be in a social setting once again. But I'll tell you, this year has been extremely positive. We've reestablished our expectations for what we expect of our students. a lot of amazing things are happening in classrooms. But let's talk a little bit about the return on investment that our taxpayers are getting in public education. And so we were recently recognized for the work that we're doing with technology in our schools, most notably as an Apple Distinguished School Division. There are less than 700 schools worldwide that have received this recognition. All 5 of our schools are considered Apple Distinguished Schools. So what does that mean? What that means is we are using the technology in our schools effectively and well to support instruction. It's not the only tool that we use, but it's also a tool that we use to supplement and support, and we're using it very, very well. This community invests a lot of money in technology. And so I'm proud to say that that investment is being returned well and being recognized by others. Just recently, we were recognized again for year five in a row as the #1 school division in the Richmond metro region. Niche.com is where a lot of people go when they're searching for communities where they want to live. And so when they look up Goochland County Public Schools, they can see how strong we are from a variety of metrics. This looks at a lot of data, looks at experiences people are having. And so we've been recognized again for the #1 school division in the region in the top 10% of school divisions in the Commonwealth. Certainly something that we're very proud of. This is a new recognition for us, and we talked about this on Tuesday night at the school board meeting. We have just been recognized as a national banner school from the Special Olympics organization. And so this was a pretty challenging accomplishment for us. And you may not know, when you think of the Goochland Bulldogs, you may think of those students who are competing in cross country and volleyball and basketball. But we have students with disabilities who are wearing the Bulldog uniform, and they are competing with students, their non-disabled peers in bowling, cricket, basketball, kickball. And so we have not just the varsity football team that you'll see on Friday night, we have students who are competing in other sports, and we're really proud of what that has done for us to allow students to be really close and inclusive. And it's just, I'm telling you, I'll send you some invitations to see it in action. It's just amazing. Really proud of that. And as I said, this community invests $40 million in public schools. And so we are recognized most recently from the Government Finance Officers Association for our work in our budget development. Our budget book has been well recognized for the detail and how it can be read by a layperson in any sort of setting. And so certainly proud of that. It's a recognition of the strong stewardship of taxpayer dollars that our school division has, and really proud to be recognized by that national organization as well. And for several years in a row, we are one of only 10 school divisions in this Commonwealth that have been fully accredited. And so we are amongst some elite company there, and really strong with the results that we're getting on our standards of learning assessments. And again, it's just a sign of strength of our school division, and really proud of what we are doing on that statewide measure. A lot of people in this room are competitive, and I am extremely competitive when it comes to how we compete against other school divisions in our region. And so when it comes to the SOL test from last year, we again remain very strong in the region with high rankings on all of the content assessments, and certainly we're at the very top there. And I will say that I think much of this is a result of what we did in 2020 and 21, where early in the pandemic, we had students back in school in person. And I'm really proud of what we did there. And certainly our students, I believe in Goochland, have an advantage as a result of the work that was done then. And we can see those numbers certainly manifested in these results here. So when it comes to the SOL tests, we exceed state averages on all the content areas. And so really proud of all that. So we are high above what the rest of the state is doing. And then this is one metric that I'm really proud of too, is our graduation rate at 97%. They recently published the statewide graduation rate, and it was at 92%. We have been 97% for years. My ultimate goal is to get to 100%, or 1 or 2 students away. And oftentimes what happens there is students leave our school division and we lose track of them. Things happen in life, and ultimately that's held against us. Because if they don't enroll in another school, we don't know where they end up. They count against us. And so that's kind of what's happening there. So we really have a goal to ultimately get to 100%, but really strong graduation rates as well. So let's talk a little bit about what you would see when you walk through our schools and see what's happening across our school division. Our focus this year is taking this already high performing and extremely successful school division and becoming even stronger. We are not complacent. We're not going to put our feet up on our desk and say we've arrived. We are not satisfied. We want to continually to grow and improve. So our motto this year is to make ourselves stronger in everything that we do, with the decisions that we make, our interactions with our community, and everything we do. We're going to be stronger this year than we have in the past. And so really proud of what we're doing to provide experiences and opportunities for students. And if you're interested in what is happening for our Bulldogs, follow us on Goochland Sports. But our volleyball team's having an extremely strong year this year. We continue to have competitive football teams. Are struggling a little bit on the gridiron this year, but still we're very, very proud of our Bulldogs. And we also have some fall sports that are happening in golf, cross country, and our cheerleaders are out there supporting our Bulldogs as well. Here's a picture of our unified sports team. Really proud of those student athletes who are really doing some great work out on the field. Of course, we have our band, strong performing band that we're really proud of as well. And then we have our career and technical education program that I wanted to highlight just for a second. That remains extremely strong. This community has invested well in our CTE program. I wanted to highlight something I experienced today. So we have, I think, maybe the only Spanish in the workplace class in the Commonwealth. So we have students who are interested in driving bulldozers, building homes, being plumbers. And so we have students who are taking a Spanish class related to tools, landscaping. The goal is for them to be able to lead other individuals who may speak Spanish as their first language. And so we went on site today at Boone Homes, which is across from the county administration building. And our students in this class had a chance to walk through with Boone Homes team, talk about the building process, practice their vocabulary, and had a chance to interact and practice their Spanish speaking skills with some of the workers who are on site. Really cool. How we're preparing these students for what they're going to experience in 4 or 5 years when they get out in the workforce. They were offered jobs today by Boone Homes as well. So really, really cool. So proud of our CTE program. Really some great things continue to happen there. Community partnerships. Eddie and Stephen are here, and I'm extremely proud to be a partner side by side with them in all the public safety initiatives that we have in our community. If you think about daily, we have 2,600 children, 500 employees who are working in our school system, and ultimately it's our responsibility to make sure that they are safe and healthy and well. We have ramped up our safety and security efforts. It's been a true partnership with them. You walk through our buildings, it's a little bit different experience. You drive past them, you see some things that are a little bit different. And so we've done a lot of great training together this summer, including a live practice simulation with an attacker inside of our schools. And it was a great opportunity to learn and grow and communicate together. And I just want to highlight and thank you, gentlemen, for our partnership together. You can be assured that your community is working very hard to ensure the safety and well-being of our students and staff on a regular basis. We have a great partnership with the YMCA. This is a highlight of a local dentistry that came on site and is providing free dental and healthcare to our students who speak English as a second language. So a really great partnership there. And then continually proud of what we're doing with our Marine Corps Junior ROTC program. I invite everyone to come out in November, be a part of that. We have a special guest, Ken Peterson, who's going to be our keynote speaker there. And certainly we want to celebrate and thank those who have served our nation admirably. And this is something that's really cool as well. Rachel Tate, who teaches for us, has established this Veterans Project where we have 30 veterans in our community who are working side by side with our students, where we are bridging the generation gap, and our students are honoring and understanding what men and women in the armed services have done for our community and for this nation. They're interviewing the veterans. The veterans have been invited to be at the coin toss for our football games, captains at our football games. They're going to go on a field trip in the spring of the year to the war memorials in DC. And we're hoping that we have a partnership at the Goochland Day Parade too. So it's really a great collaboration between our community and our students, where we are honoring the past and recognizing the service and sacrifice, and certainly how that has allowed us to do what we do every day. Really proud of what we're doing there. All right, enrollment. And so we have increased in enrollment slightly this year, actually a little more than slightly. We're up about 50 students year over year. Every school except for one has increased its enrollment. Goochland Middle School is down just a little bit because we had a large 8th grade class last year that has matriculated to the 9th grade. So we see a little bit of a bump there at our high school. Goochland High School is knocking on the door of 900 students, believe it or not. So who would have ever thought that Goochland High School is going to have 900, but we're pretty close. So overall, we're up to about 45 K through 12. You had 100 preschool students in there. We're up over 2,600 students. So we continually to see a little increase. Anecdotally, what we are seeing is that families who made the choice to homeschool their children during the pandemic are returning to our public schools. Folks who have made the choice to educate their children in a private setting are returning back to the public schools. So we're really excited about that. Thankful to have our families back in our schools. And we're seeing that little increase. So something for us to monitor as we move forward and look at the needed resources for the future. All right, capital projects. This time last year, we were hot and heavy in the GVA bonds process, right? And continually thankful for what this community did and voted in affirmation to the tune of 85% in support of projects that the schools have needed, our first responders needed, and our public safety officials in the courts needed as well. And I'm continue to be grateful for that ongoing support. So I'll let you know that the investment this community has made in this project right here has increased safety, has provided a better experience for all motorists in the courthouse area. If you remember last year, we showed pictures of cars that were backed out on the Bulldog Way in front of the high school, backed out on the Route 6, and Stephen and his team had to come in with their lights and save the day. It was a mess. It was a mess. They had buses and cars converging at the same time. Well, we have Interstate 64 out in front of our school right now, but it's great. It's great. We have 2 dedicated bus lanes. We have 2 lanes of pedestrians, not pedestrians, but parents who drop off their kids. It converges into one. It works great. We haven't had any issues. Great customer service that we're providing to our community. This is where we have made a 20-year investment or more. And so those dollars that the community has invested certainly are paying dividends. And I'm proud to say it came in $550,000 less than we budgeted. And school board on Tuesday recognized that, and we're going to ask that we could use those resources for a future project, most notably the new GES. So that's a positive where we came in under budget and saving those resources for some other needs that we have in our community. So really some good things there, just another view of that new parking lot. So let's talk about the new GES. We're nearing a very critical phase of this project. So on Monday, the 17th of October, we are going to send a several hundred-page bid document to 8 pre-qualified vendors. We had the foresight to identify through a procurement process individuals who met certain specifications of quality, experience, and bonding reputation that we're going to make sure that we get a quality project. And so we have 8 individuals who have met our pre-qualification specifications. We're going to send the bids to them. The bids are going to be on the street for 30 days, and we will know the true cost of this project on November the 17th. There's been a lot of conjecture, a lot of cost estimates, a lot of wondering. And so we'll find out on the 17th of November what this thing's going to cost. So I'm optimistic. I believe that with 8 vendors that we should get competition. I think there are some folks who are hungry. And the economy may be slowing down at the right time potentially for this. Time will tell, but we will know for sure on November the 17th. So let's walk through the school just a quick moment. This is a 2-story structure. We have an academic wing that you see there in blue. That's where all the classrooms are. On the right-hand side, on the bottom, that's the first floor print. That's where your office suite is. That's where a gymnasium is, cafeteria, and your kitchen servery. We did build this, or we hope to build this for a middle school size gym so that we can continue the great parks and recreation programs that we have, as well as make sure that it's available for the community in the future. So 2-story footprint, and there's a picture of what it may look like on the outside. A pretty simple design. Ultimately, we want this school to be very We recognize the costs associated with this. We want to make sure that we're frugal, but also making sure that it's something that we're proud of. So we're really trying to strike that balance. Quite honestly, it is a brick design on the outside. And so we'll have vehicular traffic separated from bus traffic. And so hopefully a good feel when we walk up to the front door and have some nice curb appeal. This is a picture of the inside of the office suite. Nothing fancy there, but just a nice simple footprint on the inside, the main office. This is where we would greet our visitors. And then I don't know how you can see this potentially with some of the lighting, but this is where you walk in and this is the cafeteria. You walk in the main entrance and you walk into a 2-story volume and the cafeteria space is there. Glass on one end of the facility so that we can get some nice natural light in and have a nice experience for our end users. Hallways go down to the left-hand side on this picture. That's where all the classrooms are. So this is just a picture as you walk out of the cafeteria into the academic wing, stairs that lead you up onto the 2nd floor. Classrooms here on the left-hand side. There'll be a combination of material kind of like this in the hallways. It'll be durable and a few carpeted spaces just for comfort and feel. But we looked at maintenance as well. This is what we call a performance space here. The facility will not have an auditorium. The cost of an auditorium is a lot when we think about the usage associated with that. So we sought some compromise, and this would allow us to have a performance of a grade level and get some parents in there. So a very flexible space here that is depicted in this picture. And then this is this view looking down into the library from the 2nd floor corridor where students will be walking back and forth. So the library is the hub of the building. It's a beehive, so that's where a lot of activities want to happen. And so it's centralized in the middle of the school. And then this is just a picture of what we're calling collaborative spaces. Oftentimes, we want our work to happen in the classroom and outside of the classroom. If you go to our schools now, you'll see students spilling out into the class, into the hallways. Well, these are spaces that are designed for kids to get together, do teamwork, collaborate, work together. So this is just a visual depiction of that. And this is on the back side of the building. So this student here is walking into the cafeteria on the left-hand side and then playground space off to the right. And so we have a preschool playground for kindergarten and 1st grade students, and then a playground for 2nd through 5th grade students. So we have plenty of play space for the students, but excited about this and hoping that we can get some really great pricing when the bids come in. And we'll work together with our community to see what the next steps are and hopefully get some answers here in the coming months. But again, in summary, really proud of what we're doing this school year. We're off to a fantastic start. Thankful for all the support we get from individuals in this room and our community as a whole. And I'm happy to answer any questions that you may have.
Yeah, we're not putting that really up.
You're fully staffed.
We have one opening, Mr. Peterson. We did open the school year fully staffed, but we do have a librarian position at the high school. And if you know of anybody who'd be interested in that, I'd love to talk to them. And I'm looking for a girls basketball coach too. That one has me a little more nervous than the librarian, quite honestly. And then we most recently had Dr. Chris Collier, our high school principal, receive a promotion. He's on his way to Spotsylvania County. We have an interim principal there now. So we are actively recruiting for a high school principal as well. I'll stick around. Yeah, thank you.
All right, thank you very much.
Yes, ma'am.
Really appreciate it. So, I hope you learned a lot about what we're doing in the county right now. Are there any questions for me or any county staff? Here's your chance. Okay, well, I think most of you have my phone number. It's on the website. Please call me if there's anything that you need. I do want to add one thing. Many of you know that we did lose one of our members of our board, Don Sharp, passed away on September 17th. And the service will be this Saturday at Ragland Memorial Baptist Church on Sandy Brook Road at 2 p.m. if anyone is interested in that. We are in the process of taking applications to fill that position for an interim period, a little bit more than a year till next November, when we have elections and we'll elect someone to that position. So if you know of anyone who is in District 4 that might be interested, it is on our website. You can call me if you can't find it, direct you there. So thank you so much for coming out tonight. We really appreciate it. And oh, last thing, the treats, the cookies are made by the Goochland High School Culinary Arts team. So please, they would be upset if you did not eat them.
Yes, they would.
Okay. All right, thank you. Good night.